Greetings live from YouTubeville. Once again, it's the Danny Savage Draft Guru Show. Today we're going to be talking running backs. And I got a bad feeling come 2025 draft, running back is going to be very, very high on our needs. Let's see if I can get up there, get some shirts in, get some hats in. Let me get some look this way, look that way. Still the best beard on YouTube. All right, it's gonna be pretty simple tonight. We're gonna be talking about 5 future stars, and as ironically, they all come out of the Big Ten. And the last kid I'm going to talk about, he probably has the highest upside and could surprise a hell of a lot of people. This is the last kid I talk about. First kid I'm going to talk about is Ohio State, Quishon Judkins. He's an Ole Miss transfer. He spent 2 years at Ole Miss, racked up over 2,700 yards, over 27 touchdowns. The kid's a machine. 6 foot, 220. You give him one cut and he's gone. And now he's going to Ohio State, where they're going to have a much more improved line this year than they had last year. Last year, they had a young offensive line and experienced some growing pains. They had a couple of transfers come in, but plus they stayed with what they got, and they got bigger and they got more mature up front. He's also coming into a team that has Trevon Henderson on it. He's a kid, 5'10", 215. You want to talk about a touchdown machine? The kid's racked up 37 TDs over his career in Ohio State. He was having some issues last year with mental health and sleep deprivation. And as crazy as it sounds, but if you're up 24 hours straight and then even try to operate a vehicle, that's the equivalent of being 0.8. It's the equivalent of being drunk, being up 24 hours straight and trying to do stuff. Think about all the stuff, crazy stuff when we were younger. But he was having really, really bad issues sleeping. Who knows if that was related to CTE? Who knows what? But hopefully he got that all under control. Because they have a really great 1-2 combo in the backfield. And now that they have a quarterback and crazy wide receivers, it's just going to be the numbers they're going to put up this year is crazy. Judkins is probably going to be your first round. See, I say that, but if we go by this past draft where running backs got so devalued, I don't want to. I mean, could he sneak into the end of the first round? Could whoever the best running back sneak into the end of the first round? It's possible. But after this year, it just makes you think where it's a running back by committee league, and these teams are like, we're not going to invest high draft capital anymore. And, we're just going to go out and get, numerous backs. And every year we're going to draft a back, use them for 4 or 5 years, and then just discard them. Because let's be honest, like, how many second running back contracts are actually successful on both sides for the player and the team in the NFL? Not very many. So Ohio State with Henderson and Judkins is crazy. They're going to put up sick numbers. There's a lot more other guys, but tonight we're going to keep it short with 5, and we're going to talk about Big Ten. We're going to go right over one state over, Happy Valley, Penn State. They got a combo of 2 monsters. Nick Singleton, 6 foot, 220, and Katron Allen. He's the big bruiser. He's 5'11", 240. Penn State has a young quarterback that in the past has not been able to put the ball on his shoulders and say, yeah, I'm going to pass the ball 40 times a game and we're going to win. No, it's not. They just run you into the ground. My only concern with the two Penn State kids this year is that they're replacing 3 offensive linemen on the O-line. They're replacing both tackles and a center. So we have 3 new starters on the O-line. That means, listen, it's Penn State. You want a linebacker, you go to Penn State. You want a guard, you go to Penn State. So they got kids waiting in the wings to snatch these positions up. So they might start out a little bit slow, but both of these kids are monsters. And they're not getting a lot of love, especially Katron Allen, not getting a lot of love. And all he is, the kid is a bulldozer. He's a goal line back. I don't care. If he's a day 3 guy, that'll be a shame. But the way the draft went last year, that's probably what it's going to be like. But he reminds me, if you want to put a comp on him, and I'm showing my age a little bit, even though I look 21, joking. He reminds me of he reminds me of a Jamal Lewis from the Ravens, but not as fast. Not as fast as him. He's more of a big, just goal line, and he's going to bruiser, run you over type back. So, see, this is how good of you. I even set my alarm clock so I don't, miss my own podcasts. That's how much I care about my fans. So that's them. Now we're going to stay in the Big Ten, and we're going to go down to a little itty bitty college called Rutgers in New Jersey, who Isaiah Pacheco came out of, and was a round 7 pick. He ran a 4.37, and he's been with the Chiefs a few years, and he has a couple of Super Bowls under his ring. I called it that year. I said, this kid is going to be a steal of the draft. And everybody's like, who's that kid? Who's him? Nobody ever heard of him. Because let's be truthfully honest. A lot of guys that talk draft, they just regurgitate what they read. They don't watch college football religiously. And the crazy thing is, like, in my opinion, especially with COVID, okay, 2020 didn't count. Whether it was your first year, your last year, or whatever, it didn't count. So the super seniors we get from COVID, that won't stop until the 2026 draft. That will be the last draft of the COVID super seniors. That'll be the last draft of us seeing 25-year-old rookies. But the crazy thing is, with the COVID year, we got 6 years of tape on some people. Legit. 6 years of tape. So, like, you're telling me you never heard of these people, or you never watched them and they caught your eye over 6 years? You know what I'm trying to say? This is not a Maurice Claret issue where he wants to get in and get out. And, they did him dirty. They did him very dirty at Ohio State. I know he had issues later on. And trust me, I'm not an Ohio State fan. I'm a fan of whoever puts money in my pocket. That's that particular Saturday. But they did him dirty. So when you got 6 years of tape on some people, 5 years of tape on some people, you should know your guys. And I'm just giving you a few guys today. But Kyle Monangai, Rutgers, 3-year starter, 5'9", 215 with speed, and he has a bowling ball. He runs like a bowling ball. He has no problem. He runs much larger than his size. Last year, he led the Big Ten in rushing. This year, Rutgers has a quarterback. They have a wide receiver. Their offensive line's doing good. And Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State is off the team, off the record, I should say. So his numbers are going to be even better. They play like USC, UCLA, they're playing stuff like that. But the kid, Kyle Monangai, he's the wild horse out of this five that I gave you. He's a kid that I would not be shocked if I saw him early day one, early day two. I'm talking about one of the first picks of round two. And I'm just going by, I could have said late round one, but I'm just going by how running backs have been devalued so much. So I'm saying he's going to be up there with the top five picks, in my opinion. And like I said, this is a very, very early breakdown. But for the last couple of years, all teams did was just key on him because they had no passing game. They recruited this kid, Gavin Westmount, 4-star. I don't know whoever was giving out stars, but they should have gave it to me. He was a 4-star from Kentucky, and this kid was horrendous. This kid straight sucked. Minnesota kid transferred in, boom, beat him out for his job, but he left and he ran back to Kentucky where he was going to sit the bench. The kid's just not a quarterback. He had no arm. So all they did for the last couple of years is key on Monangai. The only negative I can see on Kyle Monangai this year is he had a bruising fullback, a kid by the name of Johnny Langan, a local kid also. This kid was a quarterback, a fullback, tight end. I know he's trying to snatch onto a team now, and I don't know how he's not going to get a job when he was originally a Boston College kid. Then he transferred to Rutgers, but he started quarterback, he started tight end, and he started fullback. And he was a bruiser. He's a bruiser fullback. He was 6'4", 245, and the kid would put his head down. So losing him might hurt Monangai a little bit, but that's yet to be seen yet. So that I can see the only minor thing that might hurt him. But out of these five names I just mentioned, you're most likely going to see at least these guys in the top 10, top 12 running backs drafted. Now, switching over to Dallas, I hope I'm wrong, but I think we have one of the worst running back rooms in the NFL, in my opinion. Zeke was brought back to sell jerseys. Let's be honest. That's why he's wearing his old college number 15. The special is if you buy 2 15 jerseys, Jerry gives you a free trash can because Zeke only looks good running around trash cans. But Zeke is coming back also to pass block for the young offensive line we're going to have. So, but after pass blocking, I really don't know what Zeke's going to do for us this year. So I truly see an entirely new running back room in 2025. We do have 4 extra comp picks, but one thing I am afraid of, and I'm sure it's probably going to happen, is the fact that if our running back room experiment turns out horrible, we're going to overpay for a running back at the trade deadline if we're in contention. But now I say in contention, let's be honest, in the NFC, 9-8, you're going to get into the playoffs. 10-7, you're going to get into the playoffs. So even if we have a first place schedule, but we don't have a first place team, we're going to get into the playoffs. So I know they pushed the trade deadline back. Can I see us overpaying for an IJ Harris out of Pittsburgh? Yeah. Can I see come on, man. Jerry sent a fourth to Denver for Trey Lance. You don't think if we're on the fringe of getting into the playoffs, he's going to overtrade for a running back? Absolutely. And we're definitely going to be in contention because, I mean, what? Philly lost, 8 out of their last 9 games? Their last loss to the Giants with a 10-game parlay cost me 4 G's, 4 large. I'm going to keep my mouth shut about that, Philly. Hate you, Philly. But Philly had a great season, great offseason. Did they have a great offseason and free agency? They had a good draft. And when I say good draft is they filled needs, but going up and down, they acquired 4 extra picks already for next year's draft. And I'm sure they're going to have like 4 comp picks already. So next year, Philly's going to have like 16 draft picks. But what I'm trying to say is they had a good offseason picking up free agents, and they had a good draft. Was that enough to close the gap to jump ahead of Dallas? That's yet to be seen. So today was the running back edition, short and sweet, my Big Ten guys. And you're going to hear a lot of these guys' names come the fall. And the wild card is the kid Monangai for sure. He's the wild card. Tomorrow, I think another need that we're going to need big time for our team is linebackers. Yesterday we did defensive tackles. Today we did running backs. And tomorrow we're going to work on linebackers because if a great wide receiver is staring us in the face next year, yeah, I can see that happening also. But as crazy as it sounds too, if Terrence Steele falls flat on our face, I could see them either throwing. If it all depends how Guyton works out. If Guyton can man the left tackle, bang, we leave him at left tackle. And then we could be looking at drafting a right tackle next year, as crazy as that sounds. And that's what bites us in the ass a lot is these bad contracts. So we'll see what happens. But tomorrow we'll give a little preview. We're going to be talking middle linebackers. Thank you, everybody. All you got to do is like and subscribe. It doesn't cost nothing. And the GWO, when you're rocking with the Guru World Order, see you tomorrow, everybody.